Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our podcast.
Today we're looking at the 21st movie in the Pokemon franchise, The Power of Us. Who came up with that?
Just like I choose you, The Power of Us takes place in an alternate timeline from the original series. Ash meets 5 residents who come together to save the day when a series of threats endanger the annual Wind Festival and the entire population of their home, Fula City.
Mm-hmm.
Why does everything always endanger the entire population?
I don't know. That's like a dangerous anime world to be in.
Yeah.
Every region they go to, every city they go to, something's going wrong. It's like, no matter where you go, so like, stay home.
But before we start,
be sure to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell to get updates of future podcasts and World of Paws videos.
And more Pokemon.
Yes, Pokemon.
Pokemon, gotta catch them all. Wrong season.
Oh, no, they don't even play that in here. They don't play any Pokemon theme. They play some music, I think, at the beginning and the end, and that's it. I guess they want a more calming feel to it.
Well, this is a different type of Pokemon movie because his friends he normally travels with weren't there.
Right.
None of them. And he meets a new girl he ends up sort of traveling with.
Yeah, a little bit.
And Team Rocket's there, but in a different capacity.
Right. So in this movie, they know about Ash, but it's a little weird how they have it. Because in the other movie, they kind of have it where they don't know each other. But then in this movie, maybe it's another alternate version where they know about Ash and they're chasing Pikachu, but it's not in the same, like, in there every time you turn around, like in the series. They just show up once in the movie, he sees them one time, and then that's it. Doesn't matter if he sees them again.
Right.
Which is weird. It's like, can you stop doing this with Team Rocket? That's making me cry.
And in here, Ash has on a different outfit.
Yes, that is true. And it's a little different from the Sun and Moon one because, as he said, this is an alternate timeline, so the outfit's going to be different each time now. And I think I kind of prefer the design they had in the first alternate timeline movie, but I just say they went with this because it's supposed to match with Sun and Moon.
Right. And he meets a girl, is it Risa?
Yeah. And
she is going to get a Pokemon for her brother, or so she claims.
Right? I was like, wait a minute, what happened with that?
And so she meets the Pokemon attaches itself to her, and she wants to keep the Pokemon. So much for your brother.
Right?
He's bed sick at home.
Right? It's like, yeah, what a wonderful sister. I mean, you get what happened, but usually when they do this type of thing, which they actually used pretty much the entire movie used the trope that's happened with her, where there's usually this thing where a character doesn't care for Pokemon or is not attached to Pokemon, they had some bad experience with them, and they just don't like Pokemon or don't care for them at all. And then they end up saving a Pokemon's life from danger or getting killed or something, and then they think, oh, it's done and over with, but then the Pokemon gets attached to them and they want to follow them and wants them to be their trainer forevermore. Right. So this whole movie is that trope with the entire plot. And also save the environment, I think.
And she has sort of a handicap. She was injured. She was a runner. And she got injured in her legs, and she just gave up and decided not to even try anymore.
Right.
So this movie is about returning her confidence to her and returning the city to being friendly toward a particular Pokemon named Zora or Zora. Who's pronouncing Zora. Yeah. It just depends on who's pronouncing it in the movie.
Yeah, it's like, it sounds so different each time. It's hilarious, though. And then you also have, but actually, as we said, there's 5 people. There's 5 people they focus on arcs with. Then you got 3 arcs going on with the town itself. Then you got arc with Team Rocket. So all together, you almost got 10 arcs going on simultaneously. I don't even know how they kept track of it. But then you had Callahan and his issues that he kept lying to his niece,
Callie.
Yeah, and that he was this Pokemon master and trainer, and he saw all the most various Pokemon in the world. He's just an expert, and none of it was true. And then you had, of course, you had Team Rocket in there. They wanted to steal something. What was it they tried to steal again? I don't think it was that clear. They wanted something from a lab, and I guess they wanted it for the Team Rocket organization.
They had created, or oh yeah. It was something they had created.
Yeah, and they lost
when they
it.
threw it, it exploded and released a chemical.
Yeah.
That began to alter not only the environment but affect the people that live there.
Right, it gave him like a sort of paralysis or
Right.
something in there.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh gosh, so this movie Team Rocket nearly destroys the population. That's just a step up. and yeah, and when it got close to the end of the movie, that part came in and everyone was quarantined, so they had to stay in. And then you had also Zora attacking the city because the people weren't kind to the forest. They were always trying to hunt him and the Pokemon, and then you had a forest fire in there, and like we said, plus you got the other residents that we gotta get back to, but there's just a lot going on in this movie.
And don't forget the Pseudo-Udo who attached himself to Callahan.
Right, after
he kept telling him to go away. He's like, Pseudo-Udo.
Oh yeah, that was another arc. I was like,
the goofy Pokemon like the goofy character.
Right, and then you had one of the professors in here who was like, I guess like grown up Deku.
Because he was torn.
Yeah.
It was torn.
And he was like nervous about pretty much everything and was afraid to speak up a lot of the time. And he had this little, was it a Chansey? Is it Chansey or a Blissey or something?
It looks like a Blissey, but he wasn't calling her Blissey.
Yeah, I think it was a Chansey.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the thing, all those Chansey work with all the nurses and doctors and stuff. So he had his own little Chansey that was, always trying to encourage him and stuff. Like, can we just have the movie about them? Because I want to see that more than the rest of this.
And then you also had the elderly lady who had built the windmill.
Yes.
An energy windmill. And she says she hated Pokemon.
Right. It started that she accidentally got this chemical on her that was sort of like a pheromone and attracted other Pokemon. Not in a romantic way, but they're just suddenly these little stray Pokemon started following her everywhere, started following her home. They would have tried to go in the house, and then she wouldn't let them in the house. They just slept outside until she came out. And that was why they were following her. And then they show that she has wants to stay distant from Pokemon because when she was little, she lost hers in a fire when it was trying to help her get something for the windmill.
And she tried to save it and burned her hand in the process.
Right.
Permanently.
Right. And that kind of brought in a little more of a darker part of Pokemon that Disney or the Pokemon Company is really bringing to the show, is that they're really bringing heavier elements of Disney tropes of a character losing somebody within the plot or in their backstory, which Pokemon rarely did. The most you had was like, you got the inference that, Pokemon live way longer than humans, and they outlive their trainers, and they don't seem to realize that the trainer is gone when they don't see them again, and that was pretty much it. But in here, this particular set of movies seems to start having the trope where a Pokemon sacrifices itself for his trainer out of the weirdest reasons, and I know it's supposed to show how strong their bond was, and they were willing to do that and go that far for them because they care about them, but you don't want to use that too much because the effect will start to be lessened the more they do it each movie.
I just don't want to see any Pokemon that die on the show.
Me either.
I don't. So.
Me either. So I think it happened once, like, okay, but I don't want to see that every movie because then you're like watching some Disney movie.
Season.
Right, because that could really, really affect your viewing quality doing that.
Well, remember the most important part of this movie, using your Pokemon power!
Where'd you get that from, Captain Planet?
Okay, Ash. That was Ash.
Yeah, like, what's Pokemon power? What Pokemon power? You've been using Pokemon...
start saying all over the town, Pokemon power.
That's not gonna catch on. It's like fetch.
And so, Risa, amidst all this, gets her courage from Ash, of course, giving her the pep talk and the things that are happening, and she runs and helps to save the day, and so does Hisui. That's the elderly lady's name.
Right.
And she does her part in getting the windmill to work.
Right.
The tower. And I'm just
going to say that. They said enough.
Helps to save many, many Pokemon.
Right.
As he did many years ago.
Right.
20 years ago.
And then also...
Or was it 30?
It was, I think, 50 years. I'm like, dang, that was weird. Like, yeah, 50 years. I was surprised they even said that.
Okay, yeah. So
and
he helped to save many, many Pokemon the same way he did that many years ago.
Right, and then that itself was an arc because there was a girl named Margot who was actually feeding him and taking care of it while it was far away from people. And then they show the backstory of why it hated humans because of what happened 50 years ago, and they were destroying the wildlife and everything that Pokemon lived, and he had resentment towards them. And then both his arc, that arc was sort of like knowing that not every human was bad or cruel.
Right.
So, yeah, they had a lot of things going on here. But I will say, at least it was a different story of having all these people work together. Because usually when Ash and his friends meet a person on the road during the series, they're there for that episode. They may pop up again later. And then that's it. Unless they're a rival or a friend or a professor or something, you don't really see these characters ever again. But for here, they kind of say, hey, what if these people that you just meet, you know you're not going to see again, what if they really did something impactful when they work together? So that at least was a great idea of having the side characters come together and they help save the day, and it's not just Ash by himself.
Definitely. And not only did the town have a happy ending, Ash had a happy ending, but Team Rocket got a happy ending in this movie.
Yes, they got to sell their ice cream and stuff. It's like, yes, at least you didn't torture them anymore.
Yes, so, and the music was great at the end. And we got to see some new Pokemon that we weren't familiar with besides Aurora. Right.
And it was sort of a mixture, I guess, from all throughout the series, but we were seeing a lot of ones from season 1 or the original series, and then some we're seeing now as we're in season 10 of recording this podcast. So they at least had a good mixture of it. And it's like, why aren't you having this one? Why don't you have this one? It's like, well, it's only like, not almost 2 hours? You can only fit so many in there. Because they already put quite a bit in there anyway.
Right. So, if you've seen The Power of Us, as we know you have, Sylveon, let us know what you think in the comments below.
Yes. And be sure to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell to get updates on future Paws podcasts.
That's right. And use your Pokemon power!
Yeah, and also heart. So, thank you so much for watching. I'm Mask Entertainment.
I'm Mom Entertainment.
Have a toontastic day.
Peace.
Lights, trying to walk around, man, who the hell are you? What you wanna do? Well, man, it's on you. Man, it's on you. Hit her in my dreams, she was my queen. A castle in the mountaintops, rivers and streams. Plucking sunlight from the sky in my pocket.